Hey everybody, how's it going? B Temple back again, and today we got ourselves something a little bit different. This is an actual ration item, but we've got 4 of them. So what we have here is I guess, very much written about, and people have wanted to see this for a long time, and it's an item that finally was, I guess, put out into production last year. So what we have is MRE pizza. So the idea of having a shelf-stable slice of pizza that a soldier can have in one of their particular military rations. This has been an idea that's been researched for decades now by the United States military at their major foods lab in Natick, which I believe is in Massachusetts. And Natick has tried for very many years to create a shelf-stable pizza that can be included in United States MREs. This is something that Americans had wanted for a long time, American troops, with the idea being that you have like a little slice of home, I suppose, is the best way to put it. You know, you're on patrol somewhere or something like that, you're thousands of miles from home, and sometimes you don't want, you know, some of the particular menu items that the US military has had from time to time, which have been of a dubious quality and dubious taste. And it seemed like time and time again soldiers would say, you know, if you can make up anything, please try to make up pizza. So it's taken a long time to get to that point, but we finally have this. It's obviously, pizza is going to be something that's going to be difficult to make as shelf-stable. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of moisture involved. They use basically the equivalent of American wheat snack bread as the base. Then obviously they have, you know, tomato sauce, cheese, and then, you know, pepperoni crumbles. The problem being there's a lot of moisture involved in that. And for a long time, they could seem to get the pizza to work okay at first, but after a few months, it would begin to mold or decay or just look horrible, and then, you know, obviously you're not going to want to eat that. So it's taken a long time to sort of use a little bit of food science, and not just a little bit, but quite an awful lot of food science, to create a cheese that, you know, won't melt easily in, say, tropical or desert conditions, and basically a collection of ingredients that won't go bad quickly. This is supposed to be something that's supposed to be able to last at least a few years under, you know, normal temperature conditions. Even under very hot conditions, it's supposed to be able to last at least, you know, 6 months. So we've got 4 of them here. We've got 3 different date codes as well. So for those of you who don't realize it, this basically are the date codes that the United States military uses. They're 4 digits. The first number denotes the last year in the, you know, the year of production. So all of these have 8. So obviously these were all made in 2018. And then the next 3 digits denotes the year. I mean the day of the year it was created. So this one here was created on the 164th day of 2018. These 2 were created on the 47th day, and then this one was, you know, made on the 33rd day, or at least packed, I suppose. They were packed on these days. I'd like to give a shout out to the people who helped me, I guess, procure these. This particular one here was from DANTHEMANDOTCOM on MRE Info, who lives in Alaska, and hooked me up with this, so I was very, very happy with that. This one here came from Sniper on MRE Zone, and also MREinfo.com. I'd like to thank Sniper for that. And these 2 here come from the man himself, the master of, you know, ration reviews here on YouTube, and that's Steve1989. So once again, big, huge thanks for Steve for hooking me up with these. So we've got 4 of them now. I never thought I would have any to begin with, but now I've got 4 of them. So the idea is that we're going to try each one of these in a different preparation, I suppose. So this one here we're going to try on its own, just open it up, eat it as it is. This one here we're going to boil in some hot water, like many US military ration items. You can just pop it in some sort of boiling water, and it, you know, the residual heat runs through the packaging and then it heats it up that way. Then for these 2, one of them I'm going to try to bake it in the oven for a little bit, see what difference that makes. And this one here I'm going to pop it onto a pan on the stovetop and see what that sort of, you know, difference it makes. So hopefully we're going to find them to be sort of, I guess, heated through 4 different ways. And that may change obviously the texture and the taste, but it should be interesting to see which one of them, you know, ends up being, I guess, the best, I suppose. You know, you have to remember once again that this is just supposed to be a reasonable facsimile of pizza. So don't go into it expecting it to be amazing. From the many people that I've seen that have tried this so far, you know, it's fairly akin to sort of old school cafeteria pizza, that kind of thing. But still a very interesting item. Also interesting to note that these are not found in just American rations. You can also find these in Norwegian Arctic field rations of, it seems kind of different of a country that, the only other country besides America that does it is Norway. But yeah, every now and then you can find these in Norwegian rations. So what we're going to do is that we're going to get these 3 going. We'll open them off camera, prepare them that way, and then we'll come back, and while they're all heating up and doing their thing, we're going to try out this one here. So I'll be back in 1 second. So while that's doing its thing, we'll open up this one here and give it a try on its own. As you can see, that's a incredibly large ingredient list. Once again, I mean, this is created for military use, to be shelf stable, to last a long time, and obviously it's not going to be perfect, and it's not perfect for you if you're going to be eating a lot of it over a very extended period. But anyway, we'll try this one out. Once again, let me just say this is made by the Bridgeford Company, and you find Bridgeford items in not just American rations, but also, like I said, Norwegian and even British rations. So I don't know if maybe somewhere down the line, the British 24-hour ORP rations or the 12-hour rations might end up having this as an item. I guess we'll see, what time will tell. So we just tear it along the tear notches. These always come with a little desiccant packet, obviously for oxygen absorption, so obviously we're not going to eat those. But this is what it looks like. No, it doesn't look like much, but it is basically pizza. It's something along those lines. We have this sort of processed cheese product that is technically not supposed to melt easily, so I don't know what that's going to do, sitting in the oven or something like that. It, might come out looking a little bit weird. We've got these sort of chunks of pepperoni, then a sauce and a crust, which actually doesn't feel too firm, so that's actually a good sign. So you can see it kind of snaps apart. Not too bad. It's got a smell that's a lot like, like it's been described as old-fashioned cafeteria pizza. So, for many this may look like sort of a sacrilege, but if you are, thousands of miles away from home and you're on patrol, or, you're having a chance to eat something like this, this is something that can sort of take you back home if you haven't seen it for a while. So let's give this one a try first while we're waiting for the rest to heat up. You know what? That's actually not that bad. I'm rather surprised by that. I don't know if because this is the freshest of all of them that, this was not made that long ago. So because of that, the crust is actually really, really soft. It doesn't, it's not dry at all. Sometimes this sort of American shelf-stable bread gets very dry very quickly. This doesn't have that. The sauce kind of has that sort of, Chef Boyardee canned pasta kind of flavor to it, but it's not too bad. It's got a little bit of a tang to it, a little bit acidic. The pepperoni, it actually, tastes like real pepperoni. It seems like sort of like, like those sort of pepperoni sticks that they just sort of cut up in pieces. It doesn't taste exactly like normal sort of round pepperoni that you would get on a standard pizza, but it does, it is actually pepperoni. It tastes like it. The cheese is a little strange, obviously. It's not, it's not made perfectly, but it does taste like cheese, and you're not going to obviously get that cheese pull, but you are getting something that's, somewhat close to it. And for what it is, that's really nice. It's a lot better than I anticipated, so that's good. I didn't really have very high hopes, I suppose, for it being a quality thing. And you leave your preconceived notions at the door, kind of thing. This is not going to taste like real pizza or look like real pizza. It's as close as you could possibly get. So I'm going to go check on the other items and see how they've been heating up and how they've been doing, and then we'll come back and give those a try. All right, so now everything has been heated through, and what's some pizza without some pop to go with it? Now, this one here was the pizza that we heated up just in the pouch itself in some boiling water, so it's sort of just more along the lines of just warms it through. This one here was prepared on in a pan on the stovetop, and this is the piece that we baked. So obviously, you notice it doesn't really change a whole lot in its consistency or its color, mostly because of the fact that the cheese has been made in such a way that it won't melt. So even if this was baked, for 10 minutes, as you can see, that cheese has not changed its look in any way, shape, or form. What we're really looking for is has the flavor changed in any way by heating it up? And, does it sort of feel better? Which one of them seems to taste the best, I suppose, and is the most pleasing to the palate when you're eating it? So this one here seems to have been the only one that changed color a little bit. I mean, obviously the pepperoni's kind of darkened a little bit in the process of being baked in the oven. So I guess the first one we'll try is the one cooked in its own pouch, I guess. We've removed the desiccant packet, so we don't have to worry about that. The bread obviously feels almost even softer than it was before, which makes sense. Obviously, it's been heated up. So here's the one cooked in a pan. Let's give this one a try. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but the base of that, the crust of that, actually seems to taste a little worse being heated up that way. It's taken on more of the, artificial chemical taste that you would get sometimes from this kind of thing, because of the fact it's stored in a ration for years. And I mean, it's not that old, it's only a few months old, but you can taste the difference when it's been heated up that way. Now, I don't know what these two will be like, but, let's cleanse the palate a little bit with this and then try the other one. So next we'll try the one that's been heated up in a pan. The crust feels like it's, firmed up a little bit more than it was for this one. Obviously, it's been more directly heated. So yeah, let's see what the difference is for this one. That way is really nice. The crust on the very bottom, it's got a little bit of a crisp to it now. And the flavor profile hasn't changed much compared to the original one. Tastes nothing like this one at all. This one just sort of takes the flavor of this, and it seems to be a little bit more rich, a little bit better, basically. But also the consistency seems a little bit better. The bread, the crust feels a bit softer. The pepperoni flavors sort of come out a bit more, and the sauce flavors actually come out a bit more as well. So basically takes this and just makes it better overall. Lastly, and obviously this wasn't going to be a very long review, but we'll try out the one that was baked in the oven. I'm going to assume this is probably going to be the best, but I guess we'll see. So far, this would be number 1, number 2, and number 3. So let's just see where this sort of slides into that scale. Everything else kind of just has slid down the scale now, because this is absolutely perfect. This is the absolute best way, if one were to have something like this, to prepare it. But obviously, if you're out in the field as a soldier, you're not going to have an option to sort of throw your piece of pepperoni pizza in the oven. But if you have that option, this is the best possible way to go about it. The pepperoni's gotten much better in its flavor because it's sort of heated through. And much like the heated in the pan method, the crust has gotten a little bit of a, I guess, a crispness to it, but also the center is actually still, even more moist than it was before. It's less dense. It's not dried out at all. It's got a great sort of consistency. The sauce tastes better. The cheese somehow tastes better. And that tastes an awful lot like the, the McCain's or Napoli, I guess we call it. Sort of little round pizzas that we would get sometimes. And even sort of tastes a little bit like a pizza pocket, even though that's two completely different sort of forms of pizza. But it's got that kind of like, standard, cheap, frozen pizza that you throw in the oven and heat up. It also has that, like people have said, that sort of cafeteria pizza that we maybe would have had when we were younger. But yeah, that's the best, that's second best, that's third best, and that's the worst. Not to say that's bad, but just for some reason, heating it up in the boiling water really did, nothing for it. So yeah, guys. This wasn't meant to be an overly long review, just an interesting sort of look, a little bit different from what I normally do, a little bit different from doing a a vintage ration that's 20 or 30 or 75 years old, or something that's brand new and a set sort of thing. This is just kind of either a side item or a particular ration item. You will actually find these now. These are now part of US MRE menus for 2018, and from 2018 on, I don't know how long it'll be, but for the next few years. This is now an item in menu number 23 of the United States Army's Meals Ready to Eat, or MREs. So guys, this has been our review of MRE pizza. It's been actually a lot better than I anticipated it being. I sort of went into this thinking this wasn't going to be very good at all. But I'm pleasantly surprised by all this. So I'm interested to see maybe how this reheats, I suppose. I'm not going to sit down and eat all of this right now, obviously. That would be a little bit of a salt overload and a fat overload. But yeah, next when we come back, I'm not entirely sure what the next review is going to be. I got a lot of great stuff in the collection. I don't know if I'm going to sort of go back to something vintage or try something that's modern but less seen, I suppose. But I guess we'll have to wait until the next review comes out. So, like I usually say, thanks a lot for stopping by, and have a good one.